So, can everybody hear us at the back now? We're sat down. Okay. So she sent me questions to ask, so that she probably has got all the answers written down. But what I really want to know is what's been the change with Lucent Dreaming? We all know and love the beautiful journal with every time the killer is the cover. It's so stunning. We all know this. But what's been the big change with Lucent Dreaming?
Okay, that's a good question. So we started out as a magazine 5 years ago in Halloween upcoming. That's when we launched our first website. lucentdreaming.wordpress.com. It still exists if you want to look at our wonderful, our attempt at a website. But yes, earlier this year we applied for funding from Books Council of Wales, and we've been awarded. It's not all in our bank account yet, by the way. Even though people think it is. I know, people really think I got the money. I wish I did, but we did get the money. It's £40,000 and it's helping us establish ourselves as a book publisher. This is why we've got Samiha as our fiction editor. I can finally pay her for what she's worth. No, actually, I'm not paying her what she's worth. I'm paying her too far less. But, attempting to, and then also finally paying myself a salary as well. But yes, book publishing, that's the big thing.
Now you're a press, you're a book press.
Yes.
So why should authors submit to you and want to publish their work with Lucent Dreaming?
Why shouldn't they? Of course. Well, I think the question, Connor, do you have a point?
No, I was just, do you want me to jump in?
Go on then.
No, because I can say, like, for me personally,
yes.
I think what Lucent Dreaming do, what you've done, is believe in someone and believe in a writer's voice, and that is far more empowering and allows that freedom for writers to come to you and be like, I trust you with my words and I trust you with my story, and that's crucial. So I feel like that is in itself why writers should come to Lucent Dreaming.
Taylor.
Just to add to that as well.
Oh my god!
There we go. I feel like when you submit to a lot of other publishers, you feel like you're just kind of like one of many. But when you submit to you really take the time and care with like every single person that submits, and that's something really special. Like, I don't think you realise how you don't get that. And whether it's someone who's like coming to you with like a book ready or someone submitting to the magazine, like, you just really like treat writers really well and empathise with their experience.
Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, I'm like, I should have brought tissue.
Sorry.
Oh, Natalie does have something to say. Oh my gosh, it wasn't.
I think it's really important that you're local as well. And I think a lot of the experiences people are having and responding to is because you're local. I think that's really, really important. So there's a lot of chatter and discussion about representation in the industry, and a lot of it being based in London, and I think it's really important that you're local, you stay local, and you support local writers.
Yeah! Exactly, why not? Why would you not publish with Lucent Dreaming? But, I mean, the reason why I wanted to set up as a book press, imprint, whatever you want to call it, is because I felt in Wales, anyway, I've always wanted to work on a poetry collection and a novel, and when I was thinking seriously about where would I send this poetry collection and novel, I guess when I was looking at the current offer in Wales, the established publishers, I was thinking, well, I have a feeling that if I did ever get published, if I was lucky enough to, my book would exist for about 2 weeks and then disappear from view. Maybe that's a bit of a unkind way of looking at it, but I was looking at it seriously in a business sense, and I wanted to offer something different. And I was also thinking about, the literary standards and that kind of thing, and how narrow the focus is for current publishers. It's very literary poetry collections, middle brow fiction, middle class fiction, maybe I could have just said that. And I don't want to. There needs to be space for more, because when you're in the industry, you're seeing all these discussions about diversity and We want to publish more diverse writers and we can't find them, and all of these kinds of excuses. And it's really just that they don't care. They don't care about wanting to publish voices who are not the poet's poet, or they want to publish the novel that makes this kind of list, not, finding the writers who are saying something and offering that writing to audiences who want to hear it and listen to it, because there's, we create this environment for writing where it becomes exclusive because of the language that's used or the way it's presented, and every step along the way I'm thinking, well, why isn't, for example, with Connor, he's a children's writer of Wales, and it shocked me that no one had already asked him. Maybe they had, and he just didn't tell me. To have a collection, because I'm sure you had questions before that where people are asking to see your collection, and you're just like, no, I don't have one, which that's nonsensical. And there's so many other young and emerging, not mutually exclusive writers in Wales, local, who deserve to have their stories told and shared and published, and their poems too. So,
well, I think you actually made a really good point, what you said about the longevity of the promotion of the books here in Wales, and I think it's a fair point, because there are some incredible things that are coming out of Welsh publishing, but there's a reason why so many poets and authors choose to publish outside of Wales, because they're concerned about that. They're concerned about the level of promotion. And what I find interesting is that you have a slightly different take on that, and what you plan to do. So what is your vision for the publishing scene in Wales? What will Lucent Dreaming add to it?
I think, thank you. I just want to, I don't mind taking some kinds of risks. Some kinds of risks.
Why did you look at Connor then?
I didn't look at her. Oh my god. Did I? Some kinds of risks. And one of those is, I don't know, maybe it comes from like not knowing how to manage money, because when I grew up I didn't really have much of it. So my attitude is like, how can I spend this money immediately and as fast as possible, because I don't know what to do with it.
We're supposed to be selling.
Oh, I know, but there's a point to this. The point is, in terms of risk, I don't mind, and I'm keen to put as many resources as possible into the books, because that's the difference. Like when you're seeing the books on these shelves, the books at the front window in Waterstones and all that kind of stuff, it's a big machine that gets those books into the storefront. But it's also about, the money and energy that you put into it, the marketing side. And so, yeah, marketing is like a big thing. I mean, I think our covers for our magazines are beautiful, and that's something that we also want to bring to our books, because as much as people say don't judge a book by its cover,
we all do.
We all do, and it's like the first. It's part of the art. It's part of the art. It matters. So essentially everything from how we're working with the writers as well, because I know that. One of the things that I wanted to touch on was the difference between. So if you're a writer and you're deciding where you want to publish, I guess one of the things you want to consider is, do you want to go down the kind of conglomerate publishing route, or do you want to go down the independent publishing route? And those two different models have different expectations. So conglomerate publishers might be like Penguin or Random House and whatever else. And independent, I'm not going to name them. That's naming the competition.
No, but it's interesting, because you say that, and we think of the conglomerates as the ones that sell all the books. But there was an article very recently about there being titles from Penguin Random House that only sold
12.
Yeah,
12 copies.
So it's so okay. So because I know, but I'm not sure if everyone else knows. You've had experience in many different parts of the Welsh publishing industry, and all of that is sort of feeding into now what you're doing with Lucent Dreaming.
Yes. Well, I mean, the main main publishing experience of Poetry Wales, and turning that over into something that is now selling quite well, which is really lovely. And then the pandemic hit, and I realised I was spending my heart and soul into Poetry Wales, and I could get fired at any moment, and I would have developed this thing, and I could just be kicked out. And then I was looking at Lucent Dreaming and thinking, why is this not developing the same way that this other publication is? And it was that realisation that I was not spending time or energy on it because I didn't have the time and energy. So yes, there's a lot of that.
So like from a logistical like how do people, if they've got a manuscript, they've got a collection, how would they submit to you now then?
It's very open. You can literally just email us, but I like having conversations. Conversations are good. So if that's something more of a thing, our email address is in like every notebook that's on the seat, because I want to welcome you with open arms. Because I think what I want Lucent Dreaming to be ultimately is a doorway for people to get published or to go further down their career path. And I don't think all the publishers I've come across are doorways. They're door closed.
Gatekeepers, not gateways.
Yes, gatekeepers, not gateways.
Does anyone have a question for Jannat? Anything, even if it's about your own work and submitting or anything?
Where did the name come from, Lucent Dreaming?
Oh, that's a good question. How far back? It's okay. So our initial name was Lucent Dreams, but then obviously I looked up on Twitter and Instagram, and that was taken, so it was Lucent Dreaming. But the name itself was, we wanted something interesting and that no one could spell, and so no, I used to. This was in my university years when Lucent Dreaming started, and I was depressed and I didn't know it, so I napped a lot, and it came after a nap. I was just like, Lucent Dreaming, Lucent Dreams,